Okay, so we will be starting with our session. Uh, Good evening, everyone. I'm Ria, and I'll be hosting today's session along with Kanchan. And I welcome everyone for our 11th episode of Talk Without Constraint. And we are glad to have Kamna for our today's session. Kamna was our speaker for today. Kamna is currently in second year and pursuing her bachelor's in philosophy from Gargi College, Delhi University. She had previously worked with few NGOs and organizations in the fields of social work, fundraising, and many others. And today I'm delighted to host her for today's talk. So let me start by introducing a little about our organization. Sarkari School is an initiative by We Citizen Foundation which works for the cause of equality, education for the children of government schools. We as an organization work towards creating awareness and aim to set a pro government school narrative in Indian government schools. We also have lots of important projects which help and support underprivileged students. Next, coming to Project Vedna, it is an initiative by Sarkari School which aims towards creating awareness campaigns to reduce school absenteeism, dropouts in girls due to menstruation through active involvement of youth and creating conversation around normalizing the taboos and stereotypes around periods. The main area of focus are government schools, particularly in rural areas. Today, the team of Project Vedna is thrilled to invite Kamna to our Talk Without Constraint session. The aim of this is to break the stigmas associated with the menstruation and also to get familiar with the mindset of youth regarding menstruation. Next, I'll request Kanchan to take over.
Thank you, Ria. Good evening, all of you. And as you see, the Ria has already told about the things of the topic of today, that is talk without concentrate. So, were you aware about periods before you had them the first time? If yes, then who taught you about it? So, this where we talk about these questions. So, let's start with the first question, and that is my question again. I am repeating that were you aware about periods before you had them the first time? If yes, then who taught you about it?
Hello everyone. It's so good to be at this platform and discuss about the menstruation so openly and aware people about it. Okay, so the first question I would say when I was having my first period, so I got my period little earlier. So I remember I was in school at that time, so I was not very much aware of it because I was in around seventh standard or eighth standard somewhere, so I didn't have any idea that what happened. So when I came back to home, I asked my mother about it. She told me that she didn't told me in such a detailed manner according to science and all. She told me that it is something that happened to girls and it's most probably happen it will happen every month with you, it will continue for 450s. So these were the details which I got to know for the first time from my mother.
Okay. So, how was your first experience?
It definitely was very uncomfortable because I first thing I was not aware, and on just that basis that it will happen every month to you, and using that particular thing was very uncomfortable for me because using that for the first time, I feel like you cannot sit properly, you cannot do things. So it was making me more conscious about myself that oh, this is something which I have put on additional to my body, which is stopping me from doing my daily activities. So it was really I was very getting frustrated, and I was continuously. I remember I used to ask like, why this happening? Why is it necessary to happen? So these were the things which happened to me on my first.
All right. Um, are there any are there any myth associated with period followed at your home? So please share with us.
I think I, yeah, there are a lot of myths which I have heard, but not all of them I say follow at my home. There are few which I have personally seen and heard about it. Like at my home, my grandmother will not allow us to touch pickles because she think in that time it will spoil them, or either touch the temples because you are menstruating, so you are not allowed to touch them. So there's were two to three things that follow at my home, but I've seen and heard more about the meats at my relative place or at some places of my friends, where you are not supposed to sleep at one bed where with all, or share the food with all, share can enter the kitchen. So there are a lot of meats which need to be broken out, and it's it's sometimes it's so much indulged in our society in such a manner that people find it very it's fine. It had been happening from a long time, but people need to understand it's not something that is people term it like it's not holy, it make you little polluted. It's not something that will make you polluted, it's something that is a part of our thing like other things. So that need to be understood.
Okay. And was the school infrastructure mensuration friendly?
uh, in my school there was not very open like stalls of pads and all, but there was a place where you can go and ask your teachers, okay, I have got my period, so they could hand over to you. But they could be more accessible as when I thought it of now, that you could apply stalls, sanitary stalls to different places where in otherwise in washrooms also you can maintain a clean disposal area, clean washroom. So this could be things which could be organized more in schools also.
What do you think about tax application on sanitary pads?
Uh, Before 2017, as of 2017, 12% tax used to be applied on the sanitary napkins and other menstruation related products. But after that, 0% tax has been imposed on these products. So I think it's a very good step. I'm not saying that the cost of product has reduced a lot. Like for example, if the price of the sanitary napkin before 2017 used to be 100, so now it will be 88. But that doesn't make any sense to those people who are monthly income is even 60, 70. So it's not possible for them to afford. Definitely, it was a very huge step that on this product, definitely no need of tax was needed. But proper implementation is also necessary. It's not because there are a lot of products which are sold at a very high price. If you buy, there are a lot of people who are unable to buy these products because of prices only. There are a lot of girls who are not able to go to school. So I think they could be more make friendly to people. But still, if I talk about progress, then it could be seen as a progress that the taxes had been exempt from this kind of products.
Like how sensitive and insensitive are the male member of your family when it's come to talking about period?
Okay, so if I talk about the age group of my father and my uncle, definitely they are not comfortable in talking about these issues. It's not about comfortableness. The thing is, they have been grown up in such a scenario where this talking about this thing has been clearly prohibited. No one talk about it. No one talk about that product. So it make them uncomfortable because uh, we could it's very important that things could be initiated slowly. For example, if when I talk about it with my father, so I cannot go and say, oh, listen, this is a thing, because it will make him more uncomfortable. So we could start little initiative by telling them small listen. Then they could understand that, okay, this is not something which we need to be silent on. This could be talk about. So this whole thing we cannot blame on particular one, like just because you are male. They have been grown up, they have been upbringing in such a way that are not supposed to. But if I talk about now generation, like if I talk about my brother who is younger, I could told him that could you buy me this one, or I could talk with him because he understand more better, because I we as a girls around him, we as women around him are making him understand this is the way you should be, this is the very normal, this is not something you should be silent, or you can be uncomfortable. So I think this whole thing depend upon the kind of environment and upbringing you have been. So because of that, this is little bit of uncomfortable for my kind of parents or whatever.
Missed your school due to period?
No, I never missed schools or college due to periods. I've always been like, I used to go, though it was quite uncomfortable, but there was no such scene that I will not be able to go.
Are you already conscious despite menstruation?
I didn't hear you.
Okay, I'm repeating again. I'm always very conscious in public around me while menstruation.
Okay, so I'm not. I definitely am conscious, but not just because I'm around people. Even I'm sitting alone, I'm quite conscious about it, because sometimes it's not always, because sometimes the scenarios are different. Sometimes you are having high cramps, high bleedings as compared to other days, so it will make you self-conscious automatically. So in my scenario, it did not happen just because people around me make me more conscious. It is casual for me. Like, it happened to me that I used to be little bit of kind of conscious that okay, this is happening, this kind of things happening.
Uh, how do you think should young teen and diet while menstruating?
Can you repeat?
Okay, like how do you think should young teen about while menstruating?
I'm sorry, but I'm not able to hear
Can you
you.
repeat me? Okay, no issues. I'm repeating again. How should young teen and diet
Actually,
while
your voice
menstruation?
is
Okay, Kamna, I'll repeat
Might
it for
be
you.
there's
So, all she is asking is, how do you think public places like schools, courts, offices, railway stations, airports, etc., can be truly made menstruation health and hygiene friendly?
okay. So I will start from workplace. Like, as many as women are coming to offices doing their jobs, which is not the scenario in the past. Uh, there should be a kind of friendly environment in that workplace also. Many companies have started giving period leave, but sometimes it's seen that it's often seen that the women who are taking leave and using that period leave are seen as someone who is not doing work properly, and it's not just about me. Meantime, women also judge those women that they're just trying to walk out of the job and didn't want to perform job just because they are using that particular leave. But I think this need to be understandable between the people, and there should be a very kind of cooperation, that the kind of pain happening during this period is differ for different people. It may be some minor for someone, it may be something very major for someone else. So it need cooperation between all the staff people who are working there to have a kind of uh, empathy toward that person, that if some person is, then it's using its right, her right only, she is not using any extra kind of thing, is not favoring. It's her right that if period leave is granted to him, she is just using them. Apart from that, there are a lot of lobbies made in the workplaces also, which are claim that it's for the people's rest who are working out there. But many times it's found that people are not able to use that lobby because of work timings, that you came and you just perform your work and you didn't get the time to be there and have some rest. So I think it's just not about claiming that, oh, I have a place where women can rest and have time. It's also about giving them particular period of time that, okay, I understand, just go and have some rest for a few minutes and then came back. So this should be also there. If I talk about trains and other kind of things, so I have often found that trains didn't have this system. Like if somehow, for example, if women got their menstruation uh, occasion, like she didn't get to know that it happened, so there is no kind of pad stalls out there. There are no disposal proper system because of the whole thing, that you have to either control it or you could use yours. This is a system, so this need to be done because there are a lot of women who didn't travel from planes only. Majority of population of our country travel through trains, buses, and these need to be made period friendly, because installing those small stalls and having proper disposal system, because hygiene is very important in menstruation. It could lead to infections also if you be unhygienic in those situations. So this could be done by installing it. Like example, I will show you in my college. There is a kind of a small stall they have installed, in which you have to uh, you have to move that circle and put 5 rupees into that, and one pad will be from there. So in less amount of money you are getting that pad. So that will also work in the other kind of vehicles also, whether it's bus, either it's train. So this could be very useful.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
All
There's
right.
a lot that we need to work on to improve the hygiene, the to make it hygiene friendly. Okay, you can carry on, Kanchan.
Okay. Now I'm going to asking question about period leaves. So, what was your experience during your first period? Could you hear me?
I'm just confirming that you asked me how was my experience with my first period, right? You ask me this, like I'm just confirming
Yeah,
the
right.
question. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That, what was your first experience?
Okay, okay. So, as I told you that I remember I was in school, and so there was a stomach ache in my, so I was not feeling very well, but I didn't get the point that why. I thought it's casual because of some issues it's happening. So there was some stain also in my skull, so I didn't get it. I thought it's happening, or I have said somewhere, or I have got cut somewhere, that because of that it's been put on my skull. So because I was clueless completely. So even my friends were like, what had happened? And I was like, oh, I maybe I have got cut. So because of that there is some stain. So when I came, then I got told my mother. Then she told me that, okay, so this is I already told that, she explained me that this is something which will happen you to this kind of thing. So this was something very different for me, because I have never think that this also happened. Uh, because today even you face, sometimes there are a lot of bad crimes that you feel that why this is happening with us only. I often question myself, but it's part of our life and we definitely accept it. But for the first time, definitely it's not very easy to accept for many people, and it was not easy for me.
Okay. Like, are you comfortable discussing menstruation with your family member?
I think we are already done with these questions, if I'm not wrong.
No, no, I'm just asking. Yeah, yeah, that means I'm asking that when they just got her first period, that means at that time she feel comfortable while discussing with her family member.
Okay, so
Okay.
okay, when I get it, so there was one more advice given to me along with the whole thing that don't need to discuss it with the male members and do not have to say with every single person that oh I got this, I got this. You have to be silent. This will happen. You can talk to me about it. Or so I was like, okay. So I was very questionable, like why I can't share it with my father and with my brother. Like I could tell them, and my mother was like, no, you are not supposed to tell them. It's something which is very private, so you need to keep it to yours only. So that was as I told you, because first thing it was unacceptable for me that this is happening, and second thing why this is something which need to be private, because I haven't read about it or I haven't get to know. So this was the first time. So there's a lot of questions coming that what is in it that I could not share with others. Only I could share with my female members of my family, not with the male members. So what is in it? But later on I get to know the things. Then I start questioning more. So it's not about I was very comfortable. I could talk to it. As I told you earlier, they were the ones who are not comfortable because they have not been in that surrounding.
Okay. Have you ever noticed your classmate not attending the school or college during menstruation?
No, I didn't notice that because usually people of my class used to came, and because I told you we were very young, so there was a like we also didn't told us each other that like if I today I could talk to my batchmate or what that oh I got this period, this is literally, but at that time and that kind of surrounding we were not supposed to discuss it about each other when we told oh I got this. So usually we were unaware about it that who got that period and who didn't get. So most of the time we were unnoticed about it.
According to you, what can be the possible reason for absentees and dropout during menstruation, and how can we as an individual work for the issues?
Uh, what I believe, and sometimes this is a fact also, that most of the, not most I will say, but there are still some sections which uses cloths in place of the sanitary napkins and other products, which make them very uneasy because in clothes it's not something which you could use for a long time. You have to change it continuously because of high bleeding. So the mother usually do in those area, those section, don't send the children to school so that they could be stained. Maybe there could be high inflow of building, bleeding, which will make them uneasy and unhygienic. Second thing, if I talk about individually, like if I was to be, there are still some schools I told you earlier that who didn't have proper facility, proper washrooms, proper disposal facilities, which would create the whole thing unhygienic. So maybe there will be the case where some person is on got very high bleeding and have to change the sanitary napkins 2 3 times in a day, and if the it's workplace or if it's school, it's not proper hygiene facility, clean facility, washrooms are not clean, I will not be supposed to going there because I know I'll not be able to go to washroom and change it. So that will be the one of the reason. Apart from that, and one more thing, less knowledge about it, because there are, I told you, because there are very well educated people also who avoid themselves from talking about it. So this thing will be there because sometimes not every person who got menstruation or start menstruating had a very good sense of seriousness as expected from people that you should be serious about it. So many are very vocal about it. So to avoid this also, many time I thought parents restrict that you better stay at home. Fourth, maybe due to lots of bad period cramps, because there are, I have seen people who have who go through a lot during their first or second day of the whole 5 days. So this may be the one of the reason also that they will not be able to come because of the pain.
Um, One more question, that how comfortable were you to talking about having periods in front of boys in your school?
In my school, there was no issue because I remember my one of my teacher was there. So when she came, she was the first one to start this topic in front of the whole thing, and she told us this is not something which you should be very silent upon. And from that day, she start a very healthy discussion on these things that you should start talk about this so-called stigmas, taboos in a class, and we will discuss it. So from that day onward, we used to very easily, even today now, I could discuss about this thing easily in front of whether it's guys, females, anyone, because I know the value of, or I know the importance that what will it will be helpful for me or what it will be helpful for many of, because there are still many of the men who are unaware of them, who think it's something another way. So I think by conversation it will be really helpful for them also.
Right. So yeah, this is the ending of the questions. And thank you so much, Kamna, for sharing your valuable answer about all the questions. It was really, really very helpful for the people who are watching in the live session or after that, because it helped to aware the people about the period who know, who don't know. So thank you so much. Now over to Ria.
Yeah. It was such an insightful discussion with you, Kamna. We like your thoughts regarding menstruation and got to learn so many good things about you. I would like to add that parents and children may feel awkward, when discussing sensitive topics like menstruation, and I completely understand that it is a bit difficult to make parents who have grown up in such kind of environment, and it makes no sense to blame them and to force them to normalize about menstruation, or to talk about it. But it is important if we initiate this change with the new generation. And as you said that you are comfortable with your brother now talking about the periods, and I think this is what change is. So yeah. And as you said that we cannot make changes in a day or two. It comes gradually by initiating them in real. So in the end, I would like to thank everyone for joining the session. Through such a session, we just want to throw light upon such important and ignored topic by fulfilling the aim of breaking the stigmas associated with the menstruation and getting familiar with the mindset of the youth regarding menstruation. So anything that you would like to add, yeah, any piece of advice that you would like to give us to youth in the end, Kamna?
Uh, First of all, thank you so much because it's a very, when I first heard about Dr. Constance and get to know about it, it was a very nice initiative to be vocal about them. Which, because you, if you see, there are a lot of people around you who know about it, but we are not vocal about it. I don't know why there are so much of blindness and so much of tabooness related to it, which is such a normal thing. Many people suffer due to it. They are avoided from school. This is very such a normal phenomena happen to a woman. Still, it I have found that anything related to women is always stigmatized, and it's seen as a taboo. That it's a kind of seen as a way to let women step down by connecting it with either that you are unholy, you cannot touch this, either connecting with some other things. Being vocal about it, because I have seen when I sometime I have got into an argument with people and they are like, no, they are something which have been made from ancient time. In ancient time these things were made to get the woman that kind of rest, which were not like, if they say that you cannot enter the kitchen and cannot cook food, it was a way to say that go and have some rest. It was not that you are unholy, you will cook the food and the cook will got spoiled. This was not the case. But we, as a very super minded people, created it in our own way, our own convenience, that we will stigmatize women as something that you are for 4 to 5 days, you are totally unpure. The thing which, the process from which a woman gave birth to a new individual, let another individual came in this world, you are saying the whole process is unpure. Then I think there cannot be any other thing. And I was shocked when I get to know that when get into conversation, a lot of boys who do have didn't have proper idea that how we go through this, and they still say that okay, okay, this is normal, this happened. How could you say normal without knowing in proper that what are the process, what we have to go through it, which kind of pain we have to suffer, and you stigmatizing it just as normal. And it's just not about men, it's about women also. I have seen them, they are like, if some woman is going through a lot of bad crime, they also are like, oh, this is normal, why are you behaving? It's such a big deal. It's definitely a big deal, because it's, as I say earlier also, it's not equal for everyone. Maybe it's different for you, different for me, and the kind of pain we both. So I think there's one new system has been also invented, the period stimulator, where the people are getting it, feel that how it feel in 4 days. So I think it's a very new initiative. It will also give a people a chance and kind of give a respect to that woman had to go more badly than this. So you need to respect about it by being vocal, that guys and women both. I'm not just connecting it with men only. Women are also who let down women in that time also. So it's kind of creating a kind of very cooperative system where we respect each other. We, if we know that some woman is suffering from, so it's not about suffering, going through menstruating and have menstruating, we respect each other, we give her some rest, we give her that kind of the kind of place, like whether it's a workplace or any other place. And that will also create a very good environment between people. But this is something which will be passing to our future generations in a very good positive way.
Yeah. Okay, so with this, we'll end our session today. Thank you everyone for joining the session. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kamna, for joining the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.